so she could be quiet. I'm gonna put her down.
Hi, you guys, and yeah, welcome. As you can see, we are ready to go, and whenever our co-hosts decide to join us, they're
Always
going.
late.
Oh, I know, right? So,
Ignorant.
but it is what it is. It's we're so glad to be back, and Jeff is back with us. Piff is going to be back with us. We missed them,
Yeah.
but y'all know life happens, and it is what it is. And sometimes life doesn't always go according to plan. But guess what? They're here, and we're gonna go and get into it. So I have been thinking about a really good topic that we could talk about, but I wanted one that wasn't going to be boring, but something that will really give us something to talk about. And we have a good mix of people on our panel. Some are traditional, some are not traditional, and some kind of a little bit in between. But I was thinking about COVID and looking at everything that's going on with people. And over the past couple of years, we've seen a trend in women making more money than men, than their men. There's been an uptick in this sugar baby, sugar mama, sugar daddy nonsense. And there are men looking for women to take care of them and pay the bills and do all this stuff. So we're seeing a lot of trends and people transitioning into a lot of different lifestyle choices. And I'm not here to tell you one way or the other how to feel or what to think. I can tell you right now, I ain't taking care of no man and he don't work. But that's I won't raise that way, okay? I won't raise that way. But tonight we're getting into the conversation of, as a man, you can love your woman, but how you feel about your woman making more money than you, regardless of the reason. It might be a situation where, you get laid off, your company downsizes, and it's a promotion, a raise, or depends on the industry that you're in. She might be in a better paying industry. Anything can happen. We're in COVID-19. Somebody might not even be working, and it's just different situations. But if we were in this situation, it's a conversation we need to have, because some people feel some type of way. Some men feel emasculated when their woman makes more money than them. So that's our conversation tonight, and so hopefully we can find out what
Where is everybody?
I don't know. I am about to text Horace Towns right now because he was talking mad trash just now in our group chat. And so I don't know what's happening there. I don't know. But him and, as always, I can tell y'all right now, it's going to go down with him and Epiphany, as always.
And I'm here too, so it should be interesting. Okay, well,
y'all be over here talking about he's El Guapo. It's finna be a moment. Okay, I'm just finna tell y'all right now, it's finna be a moment. Hi, DJ. Good evening to you. Hey, Alex. Hi, Levon. So yeah, this is gonna be one of those nights, because this nut over here already talking about he's El Guapo, and I don't have any words to describe what's happening here. I want to love you, Horace Towns, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I purposely made sure I got my flag on the plate, because I felt deep down in myself that you gonna say something that's going to warrant me to throw a flag at you.
I can't with the name. El Guapo, a.k.a.
El Guapo, a.k.a. the Horace
I know
Towns.
El Guapo means.
Unmute yourself, sir. You are muted, so unmute yourself.
What's up, Jeff? Man, I'm so excited to see you, brother.
I know.
Got my teammate back.
I'm good. I'm back.
I can't stand him.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. So, Horace, before we even start, I just want to hear your before we get into your opening statement about this topic. I know, Dr. H, what you just mentioned was, some people be in relationships and stuff, and things change, and sometimes a woman will have to be the breadwinner. And I know you mentioned sometimes things change. Now, I understand on a temporary basis, that's okay.
Right.
On a temporary basis, that's okay. But I'm just going to say it. under no circumstance.
I already know how you feel.
Under no circumstance, you ain't making more than me. And I will go into why. But it's not just people think it's a toxic masculine thing, which I think is a term that was created by feminists anyway.
Absolutely.
Who are incapable of discussing their point. But a lot of times when women do make the money, it's not about even, and a lot of times somebody has the thing. I can hear myself. A lot of times, why can I hear myself? Someone has a brother,
or it's not muted.
Someone might have a browser up or need to turn it down. Oh, we know who it was. My issue is, I don't know if you guys have seen Why Not I Get Married, but look at like the case of Angela and Marcus, or a lot of times, and that's not everybody, but a lot of times the woman degrades the man to her family, her friends. They always talk about, they basically say, look, I don't need you. I can take care of myself, and I got to take care of your sorry self. And then you make the man feel bad, which leads him to go and find and be with someone who won't make him feel bad. And usually that's a woman who might be, I don't want to say this S word I keep saying all the time, but it's okay to be a queen in the castle with your king. Queens still rule as well, but they still understand that their king also rules. You can still be his right hand and still be equal. That's just me. But that's just my opening statement. I'm gonna let everybody else say their part too.
I think that, hey Candy, hey girl, hey. I think that I agree. I think that this is going to be a polarizing conversation because people feel very strongly about gender roles. And just please, you guys, we love y'all, we miss y'all. Just be respectful in your point of view, because to me, there's no right or wrong way.
Oh, I could back myself up. You find your
match. You find what works for you. Every relationship dynamic is different. And Towns, we were talking about in our group chat earlier. Listen, you just got to find what works for you. It is what it is, So Towns going, and then we're gonna go from you to Trey. And what are your opening thoughts about our conversation on loving your woman, but at the same time feeling some type of way about her making more money than you?
Well, if you guys can hear me well, I don't want. I can go so many ways with this conversation. I want to say that a lot of stuff is structured that way to kind of break up our Black homes, our Black families, and I see Black women are allowed to kind of, I ain't gonna say they have an easier path, but they're in college and they're able to obtain a little bit of higher education than most men. Most of us are incarcerated, or there's more barriers on that path to getting a degree. So in our communities, you do have a lot of more sisters with MBAs, doctors, and all of those things that gives them high power jobs. But you also see that a lot of those women are single. So I always believe that we're going to be built for the man.
Black women, they're with a white man. Kamala Harris. Go ahead.
I do believe biblically that the man is the head. The man can never be the tail.
Exactly.
But the catch to it with me is I can handle a woman making more money than me because it's going to motivate me to make more money. If she's making more money than me and I'm blue collar while she's an attorney or doctor, it's damn sure that money is going to be funneled into our family dynamic where we or me is still the leader, or still the directing force in our relationship. Hey, honey, this is what I want to do. Hey, let's take this money and invest it here. Hey, let's take this money and go this route. But a lot of my female friends are empowered by making more money, and they seem to miss it because they'll say, I need somebody on my level, not understanding that, hey, that's not an everyday thing. Most of my friends are blue collar workers, or they have small businesses. I don't have a lot of friends that are attorneys, doctors, or major professionals that are going to be making that kind of money. And I feel like that's where we miss it. Do we want a true connection? and create a strong dynamic for a black family, it won't matter, or are we out here embracing the stereotypes and the reality TV of the strong woman? I don't need nobody. I don't need no man.
Exactly.
Those type of things. And I will say also that 20, 30 years ago, my granddad would brag. He paid all the bills, but the cost of living wasn't what it was. My grandmother never worked, but the cost of the house and the groceries and the food, it wasn't really nothing as compared to nowadays. But my brothers told me some last week, and I have to say that because we were talking about it earlier. Everyone's definition of 10 is different. It might be 9 plus 1 for me. It may be 5 plus 5 for this couple. But you got to find what dynamic works for you, simply because it's not the same anymore.
Right.
It's definitely not the same anymore. And I've seen guys that put on the cape and pay, work 2 jobs to put his girl through school. She became an attorney. She left him.
I've heard stories because they think they're better, or they go find a man that they equate to being better.
Well, I don't know if it's better.
Let me say this: I can attest to knowing someone who ended up divorcing her husband after she got her master's.
Yeah,
but I know that situation too. Or they don't have a need for you no more. So then they their friends saying, "Oh, he ain't no good," and all that stuff. I ain't got time for it.
I attribute it more to this though. I don't know if it's classism, but I tell anybody, I don't care who you are, if you get money and success, it tends to show you who someone really is.
Exactly.
I agree.
Or who they. My thing is Well, go ahead. I'm gonna say mine for more.
But I'm gonna save my comments that'll infuriate Epiphany for later on.
Trey, go ahead baby.
I got you. But the thing I will say too, to piggyback, and I'll stop talking for now. The other thing too, here's the thing that they don't realize. Then when men do make more, or the men are the head of the household, then we're toxic, we're controlling, we're all these bad things. But then when a woman does it, she's strong, she's independent. Why do we have a bad rap when we are the ones who are in control? It's a double standard. That's my only thing. So until that's addressed, this whole, there's nothing wrong with gender roles needs to stop. So,
Troy.
Good evening, everyone. Do apologize for being a little late. But, as usual, I'm always outspoken and over top and opinionated about topics related to, dating, relationships, sex, and marriage. So in terms of a woman, whether it be a girlfriend or wife, making more money, I certainly don't have a problem with it. I never have. I've never, because when I was dating, and I was with, my girlfriend for a very, very long time, we never really discussed how much money she made and how much money I made. We just, we knew the both of us were working. There were times where she was down and I was up financially. There were times where I was down and she was up financially. But once we got married and then we did reveal, I always assumed that she made more money than me, and I was right. She did make more money than me, but I didn't care. Okay, you make more money than me. I mean, I intentionally wanted a smart, intelligent woman. So if you're looking for a smart, intelligent woman, don't be upset if her intelligence is recognized by her company and she gets promoted and she reaches a higher office. I do, and I think everyone is going to have a perspective and an observation depending on their background. Because for me, my background, I know right now on my friends list, even on Facebook, and the people I know personally right here in Atlanta, I know a lot of women who are PhDs, directors of 6 figures, that they're married. They're married.
Sorry, my bad. That's me.
Okay.
I'm working on it, people.
Like I was saying, I know Black women who are married to Black men, and I've certainly seen that dynamic work as far as the woman being white collar and the man being blue collar, or the woman making more money, and it works for certain families. So, it really, I do agree that with money and success, it reveals character. But in terms of dynamic, some people make it work, and it really is an issue because I don't feel like as a man, as a leader, I don't think leadership in a home, leadership is not a program you buy into. Like, okay, I make more money, so that automatically makes me the leader. I mean, we have, unfortunately,
Okay.
we have an occupant of the White House who is synonymous with money, but he's a poor leader.
Right.
So you can have great money and then run your family or run the country into the ground.
I disagree.
So that's okay. So I mean, in terms of having money, I mean, whoever makes the most money, it doesn't automatically make them the boss. It doesn't automatically make that okay, they're in charge. If I come into the marriage, I come into the relationship, regardless, I could be making this much money. If she's making this much money, if she doesn't agree with the direction that I want to lead the family, she's not going to follow me, regardless if I made more money or not. Your woman can make more money and still submit to you, still believe in your vision, still believe in your goal, even if she's making substantially more. And so I don't necessarily equate, especially a black woman, just because a black woman is making more money, it does not mean that she's definitely going to look down on black men that make less. It doesn't mean that she's automatically, hold up. It doesn't automatically mean that she's going to get with a white man. It doesn't automatically mean that she's going to find and talk down to her man. Those are certain personal characteristics that can be individual to that person, but generally speaking, those have never been my experience. Me personally, those have never been my direct experiences, not only with the relationship that I've been in, or just the people that I know. And majority of the women I know have master's degrees or higher. Even my mom, both my parents have master's degrees, and I don't know how much my mom made, but both my parents had advanced degrees. Both my parents worked. Both my parents took their paychecks, brought it home. And because of their dynamic is the reason why me and my sister both went to undergrad, grad school, no school debt. I have no idea what Salome is. I have no idea what student loans are, none of that. My parents collectively paid for it, paid for me and my sister. And I know that wouldn't have been possible if only my dad worked and my mom stayed home. If my dad worked and my mom stayed home, I would definitely know what student loans are, but I don't. So every family has to find a dynamic. I agree with Horace, what Horace said. You have to find out, like I said, regardless if it's, 9 + 1, 5 + 5, or, whatever the case may be, you have to find what works for you. What works for you may be foreign or alien to the next man. What works for you may not work for someone else. But because two things are different, and this is my final point, I want people to realize just because two things are dissimilar does not mean one is inferior, one is superior. Two things are just different. Two things can be different without one being right, other one being wrong. One being this is best, this is they're just different. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. It's nothing wrong. It's not, because I've said on several times, me working and my woman staying home, that's not going to work for me.
Okay.
It's just not. I didn't know what that was until I came to Atlanta. I think I was 18 years old when someone mentioned that about the man working and the woman staying home. I'm like, what? Where they do that at? Who does that? And so I look at it like, now that I'm older, I look at it like there's nothing wrong with the dynamic if that's what works for you. But for me, it certainly wouldn't work. I wouldn't prefer it. And under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be. I certainly, when I was single, I can definitely attest to cutting certain women off as soon as they mention that. I've been on dates, and if that came up where, after we get married, I want to be a stay-at-home wife, that's a deletion right there. I'm like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It means when I say it's not going to work, that means it's not going to work for me. It may work for the next man, may work for the other man. It's just not going to work for me. So at the end of the day, find your dynamic, find the paradigm that works best for your interests and the interests of your partner. And I say barbecue.
You said barbecue. Piss.
Yeah, I want to hear more perspective.
Woo, Jesus, Lord Jesus wept. Y'all, I just, okay.
Jeff.
Don't do it, Horace. We've been going at it all week.
I'm talking to Jeff.
Don't talk to Jeff. Don't talk to Jeff. We already established whose friend that is. Anyway, moving on. I've seen both. one of my brothers, he works, he is the breadwinner, and he has been able to support his family. His kids don't, in particular, his children don't have advanced degrees, but they also don't have student loans. So, all his children do work. And it worked for them. They've been married 30 years. He's happy, she's happy. It is what it is. But I also, in my own personal life, I have supported someone, helped him get to heights or, whatever, heights unknown. And then, turns out he was doing his dirt. I think the thing is that people are going to do dirt no matter what. Are you looking for the signs is my question. And are you really that in tune with your partner? Have you had those hard discussions that are, and it's really uncomfortable conversations, right? Where you decide, okay, well, you make X amount of dollars, or can I see your check stub? Like straight like that. Can I see your check stub? I think that it needs to be, you need to have that open and honest conversation. I think you should see the other person's check stub, because you can go in with your eyes wide open and, knowing, okay, well, they have X amount of dollars in credit cards. They make X amount of dollars, so they're able to afford their credit card bills or whatever. But I don't see necessarily a power struggle between, because I'm using myself as an example, so maybe I'm not the best example, but I think if you want a king, you're gonna treat your man like he's a king. And you know what I'm saying? Like if you want a king, you're gonna treat him like a king, and a king, you're gonna follow him. You got to make sure that you're following the right one, right? So
following the right one is the key,
right?
Okay.
So that, you know what I'm saying? Like
we're all kings.
No, but you know what I will say, when I say you have to listen to what the vision is. Is his vision in line with what your vision is, right? I think that that's very important, because you can't be a team if the vision is not in a line. And that's why I know maybe I shouldn't be bringing up the Bible, but I am.
Bring it up.
The Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. And so when I think of that, I think of unequally yoked, meaning your mindsets are on two different, train tracks. And if you're not on the same train track, then you cannot make it work. You can't be on the Orient Express and then someone be in a car on the Autobahn. That's just not gonna work. So you need to, in a car. I did say in a car. Yeah, I did. Because I listen, this week, y'all, Jesus wept. I've been cussing and fussing all week.
You too.
Listen, I don't know. I keep checking to see if it's a full moon, because my mouth has been a potty mouth. I don't even know. It's just a hot mess. It's been a mess. I've been a mess
all month.
You know what, Horace? You're trying it today already. It's been 4 minutes since I've been talking. But anyway, so I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. I think of my man as a king and I'm a queen. And really, if you really consider your man as a king and you consider yourself a queen, what man isn't going to do right by his queen? If you say you have a need, that man is going to fulfill that need. Like, hey, babe, I need $60 for this manicure pedicure.
Exactly. So, Epiphany, let me ask you, why are some women? Let me ask you this. I actually agree with you on that. Here's my question. And Dr. H, can you go to Tanya Medeyor comment about I won't stay home with.
It's scrolling. Y'all, the comments are coming in, so it's scrolling kind of crazy. Hold on, because the comments are coming in. Here she goes. She says she will never stay home to be dependent on a man, regardless of whether he's the breadwinner, he can provide for the household, but I prefer earning my own money.
I have a question for that. And also, I just want to sidebar.
Is it to me or is it?
Hold on.
I'm not mad at that either. I agree with that.
I will. Let me ask a question. Before that, I will sidebar. I do see the comments by some trailer trash. Please ignore it. But anyway,
because I'm purposely not putting it on there because I know what's up with that. Okay, go ahead.
It's okay. No.
What's going on?
No, leave it alone. But
we gonna leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. But Tanya makes a good statement. Here's my concern. Mm-hmm. When it comes to big moves such as buying a home, buying a car, providing for the family, having paying for insurance, whatever, that's something that requires a big purchase. And that she's answering the question right here. I said, are you okay with the man making those decisions? That's important too. You having your own money to buy clothes, shop, treat yourself to a spa, I don't care. But what about if we want to make a decision like buying a house or moving into an apartment or investing in some property? What do you say to that?
That's a great question because I just made a big purchase and I didn't ask. And then I kind of was, but that's because, okay, so there's two sides to this coin and I'm going to answer your question, but it's two-sided. I've been in that situation too.
So
one, if you've been independent your whole life as a woman, it's not that you're trying to be disrespectful when you're making a big purchase with your own money, number one. Okay. But on the other side of the coin, when you align yourself with somebody and you say we're together, you should have a conversation like, hey, again, what is our goal? Is our goal to be debt free by the time we're 55, or are we trying to have these bills and stay working till we're 65? You know what I'm saying? So those are conversations. I don't think that necessarily a man should only make all the decisions about buying the house. I think that he should get his woman's input. But you know, I don't think, y'all know, I don't really have an issue with the whole submissive thing. I just think it's who I'm submitting to and where are you leading me to? Are you leading me to the pit of hell? Because I'm not trying to go there.
Right. No, I agree.
I think that as a woman, I'm not following just anybody. I'm just not gonna do that. I need to. There's again, it goes back to it's a trust issue. Right, it's a trust issue. So if you're not, when we say follow, meaning I'm looking for leadership. I'm looking for the man to lead. I don't have a problem with a man leading the household, but we're like Piff said, where you leading me to? But a lot of that comes into the dating phase. I'm not saying I do to somebody that I don't trust to make good decisions to lead us in the right way. So I don't mind the man makes decisions on big purchases, but I think that there's some conversations that need to happen before you get to that point. So if a man decides, if you know that man don't want kids, don't say I do to somebody who you know don't want kids and you want kids, because he's not going to change his mind. Right. So you following somebody who's already you're not in agreement with. Right. So I'm just saying that because financially, having kids is still a financial decision, because you can't take care of those kids and afford to take care of those children. And so you get in a situation. So I think that there are some conversations that need to happen long beforehand. Now, if I'm not married to you and we just dating, don't get mad at me for making big purchases with my money. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I choose to ask for your opinion, the decision is still mine because we're not married.
Now, when would you go to someone to get their opinion? And key word here, people listening, she said the word choose, meaning it is under your terms, your time, right? But
it's going to depend at what level of the relationship we're in. If we just started dating, but if we've been dating for a while and it seems like we're on a track to a solid, strong commitment, before I think about that purchase, because I'm building a future and you might be part of that future.
Let me ask you this. Let's talk about physical appearance. So say, I don't think you do this, but say you're dating a man, you have long, beautiful hair. And you say one day, I want to cut it. I want to have the short little, I'm just saying, I know you won't. Or let's just say you want to cut it.
We got wigs for that, but yeah, go ahead.
But say you say, I want to cut my hair, and he tells you, no, I want you with long hair. and he says, no, you're not cutting it, would you respect that? Or would you say, well, it's my body, my hair, I'm doing it?
I respect it.
I respect
it.
But I would have questions. Like, it would be a conversation, but it also would be how he responds. Okay. Don't dictate to me. Don't be disrespectful. Right. Like, how I feel about who I am as a woman in my body doesn't matter, because that's an issue for me, because now red flags are going off. Like, okay, this is a controlling issue. That's gonna be a red flag. But if you say, we're having a conversation and you say, well, babe, I know that it's your decision, but I really would prefer it if you don't cut your hair. I really would prefer it.
That's come up several times in ringside. That scenario has come up in ringside several times, as far as a woman, if you decide to cut your hair, should you consult your husband? And it's always polarizing. It's so polarizing, it's funny. Me personally, I look at it like, if I'm with you and you got long, beautiful hair, and Lord knows I love a woman with long hair, that's my weakness, and you come to me and say, I think I should cut it, I think I should go for the big chop. Well, number one, that's your hair. That's not my decision. Your hair grows out of your scalp. That's your decision. I would let you know, like, if you cut it, I may not like it as much as I like the long hair. I would let you know. I would tell you, just as your husband, I don't know how much my attraction towards you means to you. I don't know if it's a high priority or low priority, but I would let you know, if you got a bob, if you got something right here versus long hair, I may not swoon over you as much, or I may think, okay, you're just okay. But at the end of the day, ultimately, the decision is yours, because you have to live with that decision as far as the upkeep, the maintenance, all that other stuff. As your man, as a husband, it's not my job. I'm not a dictator. I'm not going to tell you, no, you can't, because unless I'm paying for it. Now that's the difference. If I'm with a woman, if I'm paying for all your hair maintenance, and I would tell you, no, you can't cut it because I'm paying for it. If I'm paying
now
for
that I agree with, because if you're paying $400-$500, because our hair can be expensive.
Oh, like, it can be expensive.
Even like maintaining my own hair, even though I think I do mine once every month or whatever, but it could be some of these styles can be like $200 or $300. So very, very easily, but I think the other thing is, when we talk about control issues, early on, like, you just like, I can't, I'm not, I was looking at the comments, and I'm just going to try and not, but I'm just going to say this, early on, when people have some serious non-negotiables that don't work for you. And if you still continue to be with them, right, then this is how I view it. I'm about to hurt some people's feelings, okay? I view it as hurting your own feelings, because if you choose to stay in a situation where you're not happy, you are hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there, people.
Well, let me ask you something, guys. I think anyone, and this goes for men and women, I think you still have a responsibility to yourself to observe things. Someone said marriage and relationships are different. I don't know if that's true, because some relationships are just like marriage. Some relationships are deep, and they have a lot of interactive, bill paying and staying together. So they may be built just like a marriage. But I know something that I do. No matter what someone tells you and portrays, you have a responsibility to observe. And that, what I mean by that is their actions. As far as you may be with somebody, you can obviously see that they're incompetent with their finances. You know what I mean? Those are the things that are going to come back, and you're going to have to take the brunt of. So a lot of people will portray themselves to be some way, and it's almost like a used car salesman. I'm this, I'm that, but you visibly and day to day see that that may not be, accurate. But back to the point of the show, one of the things I wanted to say, I don't have a problem. My goal when I came to Atlanta, there were so many high-powered single women with their own jobs, cars. They had money.
Yeah.
What kind of jobs?
Old Atlanta was it.
What kind of jobs do they have? I ain't talking about a hair salon or.
No, brother. No, you disrespectful. These women had own
entrepreneurs, public health,
own insurance companies. Bruh.
Trust me, I know a lot of women like that. I know a lot of women
Catering
who make
restaurant
great money.
owners,
Oh yeah,
again, a lawyer.
oh yeah.
And
Atlanta,
for a young brother,
Atlanta is thriving with black women who are successful, getting
Yeah.
money, and a lot of them are married to black
Right.
men.
yeah.
I'm just, but
A lot
I'm
of them
saying
have
that.
executive positions at a lot of the colleges.
Bro, so
Education is a field that black women flourish in, which I'm all for.
no, in Atlanta,
I love
black
that.
women are
We need
successful.
them to
Period.
encourage our young black kids. So
Yeah.
I'm
So
okay with
imagine,
Even in
imagine coming
even
to
in
Atlanta, Jeff.
DC.
Yeah, DC too. But imagine coming to Atlanta, and most of the women that you're meeting, especially young men, we establish ourselves a little later. So I didn't have a problem dating somebody who was making more than me. Hell, that was pretty much typical for that area. But I always say when I got older, back to my point that long as we're together, whether no matter what she makes, how are we making those decisions financially together? And I want to say this, that it's not popular. Men look for security too, because to women, women want a guy that they can feel safe with and financially secure, and they, she can do some other things or have some breathing room. Men, as far as myself, I pay all the bills, but hell yeah, I'm gonna want a woman that I know if shit hit the fan, she can hold us down. Not that I'm looking for that, but I'm paying the bills, but I got an equal partner that I'm hoping while I'm paying all these bills and making shit happen, she's taking that money and investing in us, putting it to the side in case, hey, maybe I have a health issue. Maybe I lose my job. I got a woman that's committed that can be an equal partner. So men look for security too, because a lot of times guys will get in a relationship where they're paying the bills and they're taking care of this chick, and then something goes wrong and he leaves the relationship. He got to start over. She's leaving with a bag. And that happens a lot. Did everybody freeze?
No.
No, I'm still. No, well, I'll comment because, yeah, here in Atlanta, you got a lot of black women who are doing big things, making great money, making more money than men. Some of them are single, some of them are not single. I know black women who are single and they work at the mall. Ain't got nothing to do with their salary. They can be making minimum wage still single. So as far as some of these women being single, you can be single as a black woman, make minimum wage. You can be single making $200,000 a year. So, but at the end of the day, even going back to the point we were talking about major purchases, when I met my girl before I got married, I already owned a home. Then we bought a home together. I put forth more money, but she certainly financially contributed to the purchase of our home together. And so even when we picked out the home, it wasn't me saying, this is where we're going to live, so deal with it. Like, no, hey, I found this place. What do you think about it? Oh, you don't like it? Okay, we'll find some other place. We found a home that we both had input in. We both had buy-in because, if you're my wife and I care about you, I'm not going to buy a home no matter how much I could love the home. If you don't like it, or if you feel uncomfortable, or if it's too far of a drive to your job, then we're not going to get it, because it's not just my comfort level that is priority in this relationship or marriage, it's yours as well. So regardless, every major financial decision, we both come together and say, look, this is what we want. What can we afford? This is what we want. Okay, this is how much we're going to pay, this and the third. So even with my wife, and she looked at me as the leader, of the marriage, she still had plenty of input. She still had plenty of buy-in. When she spoke, I listened. When she spoke, I certainly took that under heavy advisement and consideration. It was never because if I'm a husband, I'm not a dictator. I'm not a brunt like that, because, and I would tell the people that know me here in Atlanta, the people who are my personal friends, come and meet my mom. My mom is Ernestine Vaughn. She is 70.
Oh, I love that name.
Ernestine
So
Vaughn.
amazing. Office or something? That sounds like running for treasury name.
Well, I was going to say, like, I hate to be traditional, but, got that good cornbread, that fried chicken, them greens, and, that whole soul food spread I'm ready to go to on a Sunday. But, hey, I'm just saying.
I would tell anybody, if you meet my mom would tell you she worked for 33 years, Memphis City Schools, made good money right alongside my dad. My mom would tell you now in 2020, she has never, not once, condoned a woman being dependent on a man financially, because her personality has always been, if I want something, I make my own money. I don't go to another adult to ask for permission, because she's always told me, she's always felt, if any woman is dependent on a man, you have to ask that man for permission to buy something. You have to go to him for money. You have to get clearance from him. If you work and you make your own money, you can buy whatever you want. Because my mom has made every luxury car and every Louboutin and every designer she's ever had, she bought herself with no permission. Even she made purchases. My mom has made purchases that my dad didn't agree with, but my dad was like, "Well, I can't do nothing about it."
Let's talk about prenups.
Okay. I got to be honest real quick for myself. I'm glad I can't see the comments. It's probably a good thing right now.
Yes.
People are screenshotting me.
You statement yourself. But
I can't see the comments. I didn't say that.
Screenshotting you. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, but
it's okay. Ignore trailer trash.
To a comment. Okay, before we get to that, I want to ask a question to the men though, because I think this is important to the conversation before we get into this prenuptial comment, because I think it's important as well. But as a man, do you feel a lot of pressure as the leader of the household, and that's why and does that drive a lot of your decision making? As far as that pressure, that weight, that responsibility to be the head, to be the leader?
I want to answer that first.
Go ahead.
When I was in a relationship, that was my biggest stressor. You know why? Because it goes back to having a strong partner, having that fallback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was in a relationship before. I won't tell you what year, but I had a person where I'm in a relationship where I was working, and every month, before I got successful, every month, you're thinking about how you going to, the money you making and you just barely making it, and it's touch and go sometime. And then you looking, you don't have a strong partner, but you still got to be the man and make sure everything pays, because stuff don't get done. Who it falls on? The man. Traditionally it falls on the man. Oh, you ain't no man. You ain't handling business. Sometimes it just be tough. It could be the job is acting up. It could be the economy is tough. It could be a whole lot of stuff. You might get sick and miss a couple of days at work. As a man, it still falls back on the man, and that's why a lot of times that pressure, man, that'll be on a guy. It ain't like when daddy was 30 years ago. Hell, it's tough being a single person for some people in this economy during this era. So imagine being a man taking care of two people, having to maintain insurance, and then you got vehicles. All of that stuff is thrown on the man back to say, "Oh, I got a good man. He take care of everything." Yeah, that man is down there like a mule sometimes. Like, it does get tough. And a man looks for that partner that can take some pressure off, what I mean? Or be able to be the person that, hey, when you take care of this.
What kind of pressure do you mean? And what do you mean? How can they take the pressure off? What are some ways? Not just sex. What other ways?
That's the simplest thing. But pressure, I don't know what you make.
I think what Towns means is, as a woman, you need to create that safe space and a peaceful home. Men want to come home to security. And for a lot of men, that means peace. That means coming home to a space where he can unwind and not hear a whole bunch of yip yapping in his ear about what he ain't doing or what ain't happening, or dumping on him like he's the garbage man, but giving him that space. Like, let him come home and unwind, and don't immediately be talking as soon as he come through the door. So I think that creating that space where he can unwind and feel like, okay, I can share with you my dreams and my hopes and my pressures and the things that I'm going through, and get that support without judgment, without you nagging me and telling me what I'm doing wrong, but get that affirmation and get that support. Because just like women want affirmation, men want that stuff too. They want the same security, but how that translates is different. You know what I mean? And being able to communicate to somebody in their love language, I think that's a huge part of it.
Before I go to Troy, I'm going to Troy. A lot of people, we keep forgetting, a lot of people are check to check. Imagine people in relationship now in this COVID era that's not making money. Correct. You know what I mean? Those bills still coming. Yeah, and it falls on the man. And a woman will love you, but without no finance, it starts to mess with that romance. Go ahead, Troy.
Let me, because I'm gonna make 2 points. I'm gonna respond to that. In terms of peace in the household, I've always asserted that that's the responsibility of both the man and the woman. or the man and the man, or the one, whoever's in the house is responsible. I don't care. At the end of the day, because as a man, we can say, well, the woman should create a peaceful sanctuary. The man, the man wants peace when he comes home. He doesn't want to hear all this and third.
Thank you.
Well,
peace. Like Horace said last episode that was on. Peace. That's a big deal.
Right. So I think any sane working adult wants peace when they get home. But at the end of the day, as the man, I have to also supplement that, because if I come home and I got lipstick on my collar, how am I helping create peace in the home? If you see lipstick on my collar, of course you're gonna yell at me. Of course you're gonna raise an issue. So how am I helping that? So if I come home later, if I come home, at the end of the day, it's not a woman's job to just create peace without questioning anything, because regardless if you're the husband or whatever, you still need to act right. You still need to be a man of the word, honor your vows, all that other shit. To Horace's point. So let me ask you, so as far as, when things go wrong, because I've heard that in ringside, people say that whenever a marriage falls apart, no matter whose fault it is, it's always the man who's looked at. It's his fault. Why is it his fault?
I don't think that's true.
Traditionally,
I agree with Tiffany, but I'm asking Horace, why if two working adults, the woman works, the man adult, they work, they come, if the home falls apart, the home collapses, why is it automatically the man that gets blamed?
That's a good question, but traditionally that is the answer. Usually it's the man, because oftentimes we paint the woman as the person that endures so much for the sake of the family or the relationship, as compared to the dude is painted as the chauvinistic guy, uncompromising, or sometimes we're painted in the light that, I ain't gonna say barbaric. It's like, I make the money, you do this, you do that. But oftentimes it's always the man that is blamed, and that can't be that can't be, I think every family dynamic is different.
You can paint. You can paint something any color you want. You can paint over something. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the actual structure. Yeah. Because we've said this in the group several times. Is like, the reason I bring this up, because I get pissed off with this a lot. In a marriage, if a man cheats on his woman, he's a dog. He's a fuck boy. He didn't honor his vows. He messed up. If a husband cheated on his wife, if the wife cheats on the husband, then it's the husband's fault. He did something to make her cheat.
Exactly.
I'm like, why is it?
Wait a minute.
And I'm like, why is it every time? Why is it every time in marriage, when something bad happens, it has to be attributed to the husband or a lack of something? I'm like,
there is a double standard when it comes to cheating, just like there's a double standard. There's a double standard with everything. Let's be real. There's a double.
But I think the thing is, first of all, what are you telling people about your relationship? Who are you allowing in your relationship to judge? Right? That's number one.
I learned that the hard way.
Here's the thing. That's a very valid statement, because no one can really say it's anyone's fault unless you're allowing someone in your relationship and knowing what is going on in your house. Period.
Not true. We do it every day with celebrities. You do it every day with celebrity relationships.
Exactly. Epiphany, to your point, let me say this. People don't need people. I know this firsthand. I know this. I have the experience. I got the scars on my back. People don't need a narrative. They don't need actual information for them to pass judgment.
That's true. But I feel like this. I feel like the more that you keep people out of your business within your home, the better off you are as a couple, and the more chance you have of surviving.
I agree.
So the more that you can actually work through things like infidelity and different things like that. This is just okay, and I could be wrong, but y'all just let me know if I'm wrong. I'm okay with being wrong, but I feel like when you allow other people, and most of the time it's the wife, let's be honest. Girl, I can't believe what he did. Yes. You share it with your friends, and then your friends have a whole lot of opinions. Some opinions are to stay. Some opinions are to go. Some opinions are to take his car and sell it and claim that it was stolen. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff that is just completely off the wall. But you also have to remember, women, we are crazy. It's just what level of crazy are we? You know what I'm
Breaking
saying?
news.
So here's where
Read
I'm
these
coming
comments
from.
and you can see the crazy.
Well,
Thank you,
right.
Phil.
I'm so glad I can't see the comments.
That's why I'm going to transition to this because I feel like
Hold on. I want to talk about prenups, but I want to
Yeah,
piggyback.
I'm going back to it. So
let
Phil
me
finish.
just say my little piece, and then we can move on.
Oh,
I
see what
understand.
I mean?
Listen. I'm gonna say my little piece, and I'm gonna move on. But I understand hurt. I understand pain. I understand being beaten. Trust me. I understand.
Somebody put their hands on you.
But
Tell me who it is. That's
I
one
will.
thing you don't do.
Okay, I'll let you know. But I will say this: I understand
Let
if
me
you're
find
hurt
out. I'm
and
still
you
down the
have
street now.
pain and you want to get it out. But right now, especially being in situations, you know, I feel like when you air it out to the world, it's not necessarily a good thing because you're looking for sympathy from people who do not matter.
Right.
So
Damn
so
shame.
this is really to the comments because I kind of feel like, yeah, you can air out one of us our dirty laundry, right? But if you keep airing out that dirty laundry, this is the internet, boo-boo. Your children, if they look it up, they will see it. And then it's going to be like, well, why did you say X, Y, or Z? There has to be some accountability on both parts.
Right.
I feel like at this point, you have to deal with your own self and figure out whatever is going to help you heal from whatever you went through. And that's me addressing the comments without. I hope that I was okay. That was okay, Jeff.
Before we talk about prenups, because I'm someone who understands prenups, so I could really chime in on this, but I will not address.
Okay, do your prenup, boo. I agree with prenup.
Agree with you with the friends. That goes for even anything with rumors or anything negative. You got to be careful who your audience is. Like for instance, if I'm venting about something that I don't like at work, I'm going to talk to a friend or family member that is also in the same type of role I'm in.
Yeah.
To understand where I'm coming from. I'm not going to go to the friend that I have low-key think is jealous of my success, who's going to tell me, oh, you need to quit your job.
You got to have that ego.
So what happens is when you go to your friends, I'm not going to, like the movie Acrimony, if you guys have seen it, you know, Taraji was with a deadbeat. She wanted to stay with him and give him time. Her sisters were unhappy in their own relationships, and they talked her into leaving him. Lo and behold, if she would have stayed with him a little bit longer, he was written in life, but she listened to her miserable sisters instead of, you know, I mean, whatever. And same thing, even in friendships, you have that friend that doesn't like a friend that you have that did you wrong, and they will tell you lies and stuff about that person to make you dislike them. You have to be mindful, or get a neutral party or someone who does not know things personally. So,
well, I mean, to that point, let me back it up because I may not necessarily look at a person as far as their role or whatnot, but I would look at it as far as their point of view. And some people I know, some friends I know can be objective, and then I know some people who are bitter and hateful. And I'm like, okay, if you're bitter and hateful, I'm not gonna come to you, because I can also attest to it's always easy to assign blame to somebody you already didn't like to begin with. So, you know, and trust me, I've been
very true.
I think another thing, I think something that people, they don't agree with me on, but I tell this to a lot of my female friends. A lot of the people you think are your friends are really competing with you. There's a lot of people that are all y'all chasing the ring, and you go to her asking about this guy, not knowing that she either got her eyes on him or she tried to go at him. Then she gonna tell you something to get you off of him. I see it all the time. So a lot of times I have learned that just, you know, maneuver in silence. But a lot of people think they have friends. I've had an ex 10 years ago who just had a bunch of friends around her, and I'm like, these they ain't no good for you. But it was something that grabbed her. I don't know, it was like a validation, like she just needed their validation.
Like, these chicks. I want to address Ronnie's question. Leave that up, but
That's
just
a question. Yeah, I want to.
Horace, you said something powerful real quick, and then we're going to address Roddy's question. I'm going to talk about prenups. Sorry, the dog's biting me, so her scream.
No, go ahead.
Horace, that's important. Friends and stuff do compete with you. So do whoever you're dealing with, family sometimes. Or they might look at their own situation and they might have a man that's deadbeat or whatever, and they don't like what they're doing, and they see that their sister or whoever
relationship.
Yeah. And same thing with friends continue. Like, for example, you could buy a brand new house and send somebody a video of it, and they see the whole house, see it's beautiful, and the only thing they get from the video is, oh, your patio looks chipped. Why did you buy that property?
Yeah.
Instead of saying congratulations. And then when that friend doesn't get any updates or an invite to your housewarming, they want to say that you're a horrible person. But you don't support me. But anyway, and then they frame it and say, oh, you can't handle me being critical. No, you're being a hater in purpose. Now to prenups. Well, this comment, Jeffrey, can the same expectation be set from romantic relationships and connections, finding an equal? Finding an equal is subjective to me. There are things that I can't do and will not do that my other half can. Cooking is one. You don't want me to cook. We will not have a kitchen. It will be burned.
Don't get in the kitchen.
Let me take it from being domesticated. Here's one that I will open up about. I don't like being emotional. I'm going through a tough time right now that I will not talk about publicly. And no one would know that unless you know me personally. Right. You would never know. However, whoever I deal with will need to be the emotional one to be there for me. That is being an equal. Right. It's not always about, people see being an equal as always financial or power moves or having the same kind of car, the same level of luxury. Right. But you can be my equal in other ways. But we equate
that balance. Yeah, it's about finding that balance between whether you use yin and yang, whatever, is finding that balance, because I think sometimes there is a point where you're too much alike that you become polar opposites. So you need to find that balance where, again, if you're somebody who you grieve one way, somebody else might grieve, your partner might grieve another way. They may fill in that gap to give you your space to be able to do things the way you need to do. This is what I was saying about being that peace. It's more than just, you know what I'm saying? Both of you, like Troy said, both of you are responsible for creating that peace in the home, because if I'm doing everything I can to create peace and you don't receive that and you just button heads with everything that I do, that's not going to work. But if we come together, but again, that's why we always say, date at your level, find your match. If you spicy jalapeno, over here with nobody who's vanilla, because that's not going to work. You're going to be frustrated. And that's not just sexually, but that's okay. I need somebody, or you might need somebody that can tone you down, because if you always getting ready to jump off that cliff, you might need somebody that can help talk you down off that ledge. It just really depends. But a lot of that comes with conversation. And sometimes people, I was in a thing earlier today, and somebody, he said it so far. He said, we do a good job listening to understand, but we don't do a good job listening to connect.
Hey, yes.
When you talking with somebody, are you looking in a relationship? I know, right? I was just like, what the hell? Are you talking to connect to that person? And when you're talking about talking to connect, communicate, connect, that's hard. Your heart is involved. And every bit of your emotion, you're trying to connect with that person and get to, feel what they're feeling. That means, okay, ask questions to dig deeper, even if it's, if you don't understand, you got to keep asking those questions until you can really understand where they're coming from. And that's what it means to connect with somebody. And your relationship is connected. If you keep people outside of your business, I don't care if you sign a pen. If folks ain't in your business, they don't know you got a prenup. If folks ain't in your business, they don't know that your wife make more money than you. If folks ain't in your business, they don't know that you got erectile dysfunction. If folks ain't in your business, they don't know that you can't, you know what I mean? That you impotent. They don't know this stuff. And you won't have that extra pressure. You got enough pressure in your relationship that without outside stuff adding to it, and then add social media out here.
I want to add to that. I heard, I know the numbers may be a little off, but I know a long time ago, I think it was a lawyer friend of mine told me that 45% of divorce cases mention social media. And I'll say this, in the last maybe 3 years, the last 3 years, people will notice with my social media feed, I will post a lot of things on my social media feed, from ringside stuff, sweet spot, this, black ass conversation, whatever. Nobody will ever going forward know who I'm in a relationship with, who I'm fucking, who I'm doing, who I'm out with. I realized, and I found out the hard way, and I do mean the hard way. I leave my personal life off social media, because social media, the trolls and the keyboard crips and the blood, the bandwidth bloods, they out there, and they will infuse themselves into your relationship. They will infuse themselves into your marriage.
Yes,
And I realize, you know what? Who I'm married. If you see me out, we know each other personally. You're gonna see me. If I'm with someone, you're gonna see us holding hands. You're gonna see us being affectionate. But as far as a social media, Facebook, Instagram, ain't none of your business. It's like, if I'm with someone, it's none of your business who I'm with. If you happen to catch me out, that's one thing. But as far as us posting 1,000 selfies and all that other stuff, it's
okay.
it's none
But
of your business.
Troy, why people say that is because it's several things. A lot of times because they want you to show them that you're the only one, or that you're on a pedestal, that they're on a pedestal, or they want, I guess to them it's a way of validating or proving your love for them, or just showing them off. Sometimes they just want to show you off. I know a lot of times it's with me, you don't get a lot of black men that are successful, that have their stuff together. So it's like, oh, look what I got, or like I said, it could be that they're hearing that you cheat or whatever, and they just want to see that if you'll show them off. It's many different.
Well, no, and I understand that, but it's like, I asked, maybe because it's an age thing, so pardon me, but how do people show people off before social media?
That's a good question. That I will let
you don't remember like taking thousands and thousands and thousands of photos and having them everywhere
at the fair.
Like I mean, let's just be real. Like this
matching shirt.
Matching shirts, matching shoes. I mean, but now I just kind of want to backtrack to what Dr. Hughes was saying. I think what you're talking about is emotional intelligence. And I've been told that I have a very high emotional intelligence, meaning that I pretty much can connect with anyone. I think that's actually true. I think that's true, because I can connect with Jeff, Troy, and Horace on a good day.
I wish you didn't, but you're pretty good.
No, I mean, I really, when I listen to things, I really kind of take it in, kind of say, this is what I hear you saying, and then I kind of put it back to the person. And I've done that a lot with Horace. Not necessarily, I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to Troy as much as Horace and Jeff. I think Jeff and I, we've spoken a lot, about a plethora of things. And, from work to his dogs, just different stuff. But I have always been told that I have a very high emotional intelligence, and I'm very intuitive. So, like, I think that it's important when you're talking about peace in the home, maybe you want to put on that perfume or whatever it is to, spice up your relationship. I think that it's you wanting him to race home to you, girl. There should be nothing stopping him from being at that door. Like, oh, my girl cooks. She has hot food on the table at 5:30. What you got? Oh, a beer? That ain't gonna cut it. I got beer in the fridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make it to where it's like, I'm filling your time with me. There should be no time. There should be no extra time for anyone else but me in that person's life. You know what I'm saying?
Even what you were saying, trust, I have from experience as far as cooking, I know how to cook. I learned from my mom, and everything else I taught myself. I definitely have the experience.
Troy, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I definitely know what it's like to get up at 5:15 in the morning, go work a full day, fight traffic, come home, then come home, put the chicken in the oven, roast the vegetables, prepare a salad, prepare the bread for a wife, because I have no problem in a relationship or marriage saying, look, we both responsible for food. Hell, we both adults. I'm like, you gotta eat, I gotta eat. You know what? Whatever level of cooking you're at, okay, this is the level I'm at. We just gonna apply that. If you can't cook on certain days, if you're tired, whatever, okay, stop and get something to eat. We Grubhub it or whatever. But as far, like I said, I'm gonna always go back to that whole point about peace in the home, because it's just as much as my responsibility as it is hers. Like, we both have to create peace in this home, because she can do everything. She can cook. She can have the house smelling like Febreze.
I know that's right.
The rumor going on. I answer the door. She could be wearing, lingerie, smell like Victoria's Secret. But if I come home acting like an asshole, if I come home and I'm a son of a bitch and I've done something to disrupt the foundation of our home, then I myself, I've wrecked the peace. You know what I mean? Because creating the peace in the home is not a one-way street. It's not the woman.
Oh, I definitely don't think so. I definitely agree with that. There's sometimes where I just like to go above and beyond. So, like, for instance, Troy, you posted, and I be sort of kind of stalking you sometimes, but that's you posted.
I got my only fan. I'm gonna have an OnlyFans page coming up, so be soon. It's gonna
look at her cheekbones, all smiling, showing all her teeth.
Listen,
showing all your teeth.
So listen, so you posted this cologne, and in my family we call it Cologne, just to make fun. We call it Cologne. You posted that, you posted that cologne, right? So I had never smelt it, and I was like, you know what? If Troy says it's good, I'm gonna order it, right? So I ordered this cologne. I was like, this better smell good, because for as much as I paid for it, and Lord knows I really liked it. I bargain shop. So when I pay over $30 for something, I be feeling a kind of way.
You be looking good with it.
Did you like it? Did you like it though?
Listen, let me tell you something. When that box was open, baby, honey, I said, Lord, yes, this is it. This right here is it, y'all. Look, I'm trying to tell you,
ain't nothing like that brute.
Listen, it wasn't even brute. It's something else. But I will say, that for me is my peace. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sure. Being able to just walk by your man and smell his pheromones and his cologne, and get in your whole life and whatever. I just was like, woo, Jesus.
Well, no, I had to post that because I'm a cologne freak. Someone got on me about saying freak. I'm like, well, I'm a cologne freak. Take that anywhere you want. I have 12 different colognes because I have colognes for different occasions, because I love to smell them. I'm wearing cologne right now for the Zoom call. Y'all can't smell me. I just like to wear cologne. I like to smell. It's a greater compliment to me when I pass by a woman and she says you smell nice versus you look good. Yeah, I like to be told I look good, but if you tell me I smell nice, that's gonna get a rise out of me. I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you smell good, then you really be trying to make that extra damn effort to get close to smell that person. Whereas they look good, you can see them from far away, and you low key could be stalking from over 100 feet away. But they smell good. You gotta walk by. You gotta sneak a hug. You gotta be asking questions that you don't need answers to. Y'all know.
Most of the time, if you are around me, you're going to smell some kind of cologne, something. That was John Garavatos. Because of this COVID-19, I'm not going to Macy's. I was like, I was feeling spontaneous. I was like, you know what? I want a new cologne. One of my colognes ran out, and I was like, I need to replace it. I was like, John Garavatos has always been good to me. Always been a great smelling fragrance. I bought it. When I opened it, I was like, God damn, I'm about to get raped. I'm like, something about to happen to me. So things like that. If you're my woman, and even something like that, I typically, with the exception of this COVID now, I don't buy cologne without my woman's input. I don't buy cologne if, in the past, if she doesn't like, I always ask her, like, what do you think of this? If you don't like it, it doesn't matter how much I like it, because what's the point of buying if you don't like it? I don't want to repel you. I want to be beguiling to you. So that's
I think we leave out one thing. I'm similar to Troy in the sense that I cook, or I know I personally, I cook, I clean. I like to do all those things. It's therapeutic for me. So I don't really require much in a relationship. But the thing that I do value, because I'm a sucker for a bond, is a woman that can. And I ain't talking about the woman that says she a pastor. I'm talking about the woman that has a relationship with God where she can intercede. You know what I mean? You got a chick that you really know
Wait
cares
a minute.
enough that can pray for you. You know, in times of her, pray for y'all in the relationship. And I know Epiphany, but
Oh my God, Jesus wept, y'all.
listen,
That
I
just
think we
took me
overlook those
all the
things.
way out.
People that had those real tight bonds. Jeff, you graduating, bro. You ain't light skinned no more. You welcome to the N Club.
I've been tanning, so I've been swimming and stuff a lot.
Oh, you gonna catch all
Oh
later.
no. So I need to break it real quick because I'm about to turn into the doctor getting ready to shut off. Don't ever get on my page using the N-word.
You can block
ever. You will get permanently blocked. Don't ever get on my page using the N-word.
Oh,
figure
Lord.
yourself out right now.
You'll watch it later, Trey.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
good. Yeah, I don't know
get
what
on my
it is.
page using the N-word. We don't do
I
that.
cannot see the comment.
No
I
comments,
cannot see these comments. I'm glad I
I'm
can't.
not looking anymore.
When I say be respectful, the N-word is the ultimate disrespect in my space. This is my page. In my space, we don't use the N-word here.
Uh-oh.
As long as we've been doing these conversations, that's never came. Even when we talked about, we have never had anybody use the N-word, and I will not tolerate it.
Was it E R or A or it? Period. It's not even.
You just don't even. It's just a hot mess. It's a hot mess.
I don't want to look.
Acceptable.
My phone is ringing. My family is ringing off the hook, calling me right now. So I already think I know what it is, but it's okay. Listen.
So if you can't bring yourself to not use it, you need to excuse yourself from this conversation and any future conversations because we don't do that here. We know how to have conversations respectfully because we're grown adults. And if you cannot do that, have a nice day and excuse yourself. Please and thank you.
Yeah, girl, I understand you're hurt, but dadgummit, for real.
Sorry.
Like, okay. I'm going to just be honest, as a woman with kids that has been through some things, I get it. But this is not the space for that.
Stop entertaining it. When you fuel a fire with gasoline.
No, she apologized. Like, no, the thing is that if you don't you have to call out behavior. This is not okay behavior. If you are a grown woman and let me tell you something, Jeff. I think from experience, I have been there. I have been where I have been so hurt I could not see past my nose because I was hurt about a whole bunch of stuff. But you have to unpack all those feelings and deal with them one by one because it cannot just be one thing. It has to be a plethora of things that you would get on the internet and you would put all of this business out here like this. It is insane. I never thought that I would see this in my entire life. Let me tell you something. I see a lot of crazy stuff. As an educator, I see a lot of crazy stuff. And every time I say I have seen it all, I turn myself into a liar because I see something new. And today I have seen something new. You have to call out behaviors. This is not okay. And you just have to say, this is not okay. You need to go and take this on somewhere else. Because
Jerry Springer.
First of all, we're in a time and a space where people are hurting people over calling people this word right now. And if you have 2 children and someone sees this, then your life could very well be in danger.
Yeah.
This is not okay behavior. And I'm going to leave that there.
Right.
All right, let's get back on track.
So I want to get us back on track for our last 15 minutes. One of the things that I talked about earlier was about being a team. And I think that if you truly see yourself, I don't care if it's, you're married, you're in a committed relationship, dating seriously, if you're in, common law relationship, whatever, you have to see yourself as a team. And that's the question. Do you see yourself as a team? Because I don't think it matters. Like, to me, I wouldn't care if I made more money than my husband. But if that made him feel some type of way, we would need to have a conversation about that. Because nowadays, if a woman, a lot of Black women, listen, right now, Black women are leading the way in small business ownership.
Yeah,
exactly.
And a lot of them are, and some of them are leading the way in investor relations. Like they are literally investing in other businesses and in startups and in tech. And so that means they ain't got a little piece of change. They need some multi-million-dollar women.
Yep.
So if that's the case, you know, I think that there's a point in time when I think that you can make more money than your man and still let him be the leader and
give an example.
He not feel emasculated. You know what I mean?
An example, other than when he's down and out. Can you give an example of when it's okay?
Okay to what?
Make more money and not make him feel emasculated. Like
you know what? I think
the feeling about emasculation is how she treats that man. You can't lord your money over that man.
No.
Do not lord money over that man. That's wrong. I'm sorry, but that's wrong. If that's all you got, go sit down. That's just like women who think that they thick thighs is the best thing on, and it's like, baby, it's other thick thighs out here. Okay, please understand. If that's all you throwing, you ain't got much. If your money is all you got, you don't have much. That's not going to be peace in the home. If you lording money over that man, that's just as bad as that man lording his money over you.
Right. Anybody that does that, anybody who gets in that position where they're making all the money or making great money, and they say, well, because I make all the money, I say this. Because it's one thing to be a husband, it's nothing to be a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I personally, I think as far as ego, you have some men who, and again, age thing. My name is Troy Vaughn. My name is not James Evans Sr. I'm not threatened by a woman who, your woman you can get married. What if she wants to go back to school and get more education than you? She gets more education, that could mean possibly more money. You know, some men going to have a problem with that? Some men honestly don't want to be with a woman that has more education because they feel like, you know, and it's like, and I look at it like, well, why am I different? Why is it that, you know, a woman, if I have a master's degree and she has a doctorate degree, I'm not bothered by that. It don't make me feel like any less of a man. But somebody else, another guy may feel like, well, I can't be with a woman who has more money, more education. I'm like, well, that's you. Me, it don't bother me whatsoever. It doesn't bother. I'm like, good job, because I look at it like, if you want to be that, I guess, above someone, then intentionally find someone who has less education. If you are a manager, if you're a CEO, if you're a director, then go date the woman who
Let me ask you a question, Troy. For all you guys who keep saying there's nothing wrong with it, what worth are you as a man to the woman? Or where would she need you, or what worth are you if she doesn't need you, or if she makes all the money and has everything going? What is your value then?
Let me ask you something. Well, let me say this first.
That's my question.
Respect shouldn't be you don't measure respect by you don't use variables like money. Either she respects you or she does not. So money is not going to make her respect me. If that's the case, then I've already failed. A lot of times for me, I love it. I want the people I've dated, I empower them. I want my woman to chase their dreams and be happy, because the happier she is, the freakier, the better she is to me.
Okay.
There it is, people. He's
a happy woman.
That's it.
A happy woman who has got her dreams is going to be open. You are her hero. You have came and got her out of the castle, saved her from the dragon. You are that guy to her. My ex was one of the most hardest working people I know, and I still support her. Like, I really want to see her win. I like to see people win, because that's what life is about. But a lot of times you'll have people that are broken who use it as a mirror. Her accomplishments or their accomplishments is a mirror to me, to look at where I'm looking at it as I'm failing, because I'm competing. I'm not a real mate. I'm not a real partner, because I'm actually competing, or it's making me realize where I may have failed. And a lot of dudes do that. But that's just my take, Troy.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, so this is my stance on it. Like Monique said, I believe Jill Scott said, it doesn't matter how much money or their lack thereof, if that's who I chose to be with,
You keep saying money.
yeah, lack thereof money. Yeah, money.
Okay.
That if that's who I chose to be with, then I'm going to treat him as such. And at some point, just because they're not making the money right now, they may have a goal or a dream or ambition that they're working on, and they've been working diligently on that. That thing may blow up and be bigger than what I am. And then what? Then there's no, I just don't see it as a power struggle. I just see it as a conversation you need to have with your mate, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone who makes more than the other. And does that other person have more power than you? No.
Right. And because in any relationship, even marriage, one person's salary can go up, the person's salary can go down. That can happen to both the husband and the wife. So even if we get married, we can get married this year, and I could be making this, and she could be making this. What happens if something happens with my job, and then I get demoted? If I get demoted, where she gets promoted, and then it goes from here to here. So does that mean that okay, now that she makes more, that she doesn't need me for companionship, friendship, emotional support? We're best friends, so all this. So I've never, not once, not one day, agreed that whoever has the money, that's the one who's in control. That's the one it's like, I can make more money, or she can make more money and still want me, still need me. But at the end of the day, I don't harbor homosexuals. If you're a homosexual, you need to get in a relationship just for housing, and just if you need a roof over your head, and you need someone to take care of you, and that's the only reason you're getting a relationship marriage, then I'm not the one.
Now that's a lot of talk about prenups. That's what I was going to say. A lot of times there have been folks who get into relationships because of what they can gain, and then the second that you piss them off or things go awry, they are quick to leave your ass. Or once times get hard for you, you go through your own personal recession, you get laid off, they leave you for the next man. So sometimes
I want to say something to that.
That's why it's important to me. I know a lot of people think I'm this toxic masculine, whatever. But what's important to me too is I need to know that you are there for me, for my heart, and you love me for me. Because I'm not an easy.
I agree.
But that's your responsibility, though, Jeff. At the end of the day, you have to protect you. All those fairy tales are all good and dandy, but marriage is still a business.
Yep.
I do have problems with you can take a situation where a guy, he pays all the bills. He's taking care of this woman night and day. But when she leaves, she gonna want half. That ain't. But you have situations like Michael Jordan, different ones where they actually came together, and built something together. But yes, a lot of those gold diggers or whatever, if you don't do your homework, she's been watching you like a cheetah for a while, and you have people that will play a role. They will be someone else to get with you for a goal. It happens to football players, athletes, all the time.
And then they'll pick a fight or they'll do something intentionally.
That's your responsibility.
They'll do something intentionally to make you hate them or leave them so they can get half your money. Yep.
But that's your responsibility.
But Towns and Troy, y'all might remember this, but back in the day, Orange Juice Jones came up with that song.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you walking in the rain. I saw you with him walking in the rain.
Walking in the rain.
And at the end, he said, you gonna leave with what you came with, because you came here with nothing, and you gonna leave.
If you came with nothing,
Orange Juice who?
Orange Juice Jones. You gotta. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you.
I forgot y'all are from way different generation.
That's way different time.
If you came into this marriage with your clothes in a garbage bag, and now you trying to leave with the Jaguar and Louis Vuitton, like
that's pretty much what the song was about.
You got
the era though.
Like you came into this marriage wearing some kids, and you had your clothes in a garbage bag. I'm like, now you want it. So
this the Instagram era. That's what's happening.
Everybody, I don't care if it's marriage with a pro baller or sex, or a job. Everybody, when you want something, everybody's going to put on a certain air when they want something. You're not going to see, I've always said, you're not going to see a person's true character until they get what they want.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, every job interview, I go in there and I'm the perfect candidate. I'm suited up. My, head is smooth. I'm smelling good. But after that 90-day probation, that's when folks come in late.
I got it. I'm in here.
I got it. I'll look
Right.
when it's over. Okay.
And so, I mean, just like with anything, just like with a man, if a man is after a woman simply for sex, oh yeah, he's gonna be perfect at the beginning. He's gonna bring flowers and be romantic. Then once he not only gets the sex, once he gets the sex, he gets tired of the sex, then you're gonna see his real character. Then you're gonna see the downside. Then you're gonna see the asshole. Then you're gonna see, okay, this dude is inconsiderate. Why?
Right.
Because people will, I don't care, pussy, money, a job, people will put on, people are going to hold their breath until they get what they want. Once they get what they want, then that's when you see their real character, when they don't need you. You know what I mean? When they don't need the pussy because they already got it, they don't need the money because they already got your money and put it in their account or whatever, then that's when you see who they really are. And if they're a real person, if they're really genuine, they're going to be that way even after they get what they want. If they're an asshole, if they were just a ninja, you know, trying to sneak in and take your shit, you're going to see that once they're satisfied. And that can be with any man, woman, whomever.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I tell people, someone can only portray to be someone else for so long. But when I was telling my female friend, I'm like, you're not going to know who we are until we get it. Once we hit it, then you're going to see who I really am. You know what I mean? Right. Hopefully I'm here. I really like you, you know, but you're not going to really know until that goes down in a lot of cases. But it goes back to, again, in this Instagram era, most of the people that you see, the girl with the 200,000 likes, ain't got a pot to piss in, bed on the floor,
listen,
in a 4-bedroom apartment. But she's getting chose by these guys who, hey,
validate her.
So it still comes back to you.
I know a girl like that. She literally, I kid you not, this is how pressed she is for attention, and people believe it. She went to the wax. What is the wax museum, Madame Tussauds?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exaggerating. Do not laugh. Last year, she went to the Madame Tussauds and took a picture with Rihanna at the one in Baltimore. No, the one in Jersey. They have a really good one. And that picture of Rihanna looks real. And she literally posted on her Instagram and did some kind of filter and put that
to make it look like she really met her.
Literally said, because she does makeup too, she literally said Rihanna and her going into business together. And she got about 5,000 likes. And it took everything in me not to call her out. It took everything.
Because you know it was a lie.
I would have called her out.
I didn't, because I want her to. It got her a lot of recognition, but because
but it was
people
a lie though.
And I just said that
I would not have called her out publicly in the comments. I did
privately, and she said, "Well, we got to do what we got to do. Doesn't matter." Just
that's one of the big. I know for me, one of my biggest turnoffs in a woman. And I can't stress this enough. I can't stand attention whores. I just can't.
Okay.
Woman, and you see that a lot on Instagram and Facebook. I can't. I've always said, if I go to your page and all day, if you have hundreds and hundreds of selfies on your page, that's already a
narcissism.
I can't stand
narcissism.
I can't stand a woman that does the most or is extra just because she wants someone to look at her. Or a woman that does things because she needs some likes and hearts, because she needs a like and a heart, makes her feel validated, makes her feel pretty. That's cool. You know, do you? It ain't gonna work in my space, but I will recommend a therapist for you. It just ain't gonna work in anything romantic for me, because a woman that goes out of her way for attention, to be noticed and for validation, that is one of those. That's a non-negotiable. That's 3 strikes. I'm not gonna deal with it.
Not 3
most
strikes.
Of the prettiest people I've dated are the most insecure. Most of the prettiest people are the most insecure.
Very insecure.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah. So you guys, we have had to say it was lit.
I'm so glad I didn't see these comments.
Listen, bye. You got to go back and see them, guys. Listen. We really did have a good conversation tonight, as far as, you know, what it boils down to is, you know, some men attribute money to, you know, their provision and their purpose and their status and their leadership, whereas others don't. And it just really depends. You have to find people. You have to find your match. You have to find, as we say this just about every show, date at your level. Find your match and find what works for you. What works for one relationship won't work for another. But when it boils down to, there are going to be situations where sometimes that woman is going to make more than a man. It may not be permanent long term. Like right now, we're in COVID. We don't know how long this is going to last, but there are some women who are making more than their men because they got to do what they got to do. Do you let the whole family suffer because of pride or whatever? Or do you just go with it and make it work and bring yourself up? I mean, the comments are lit and we didn't really get to as many of it, but somebody did make a point about, during that time, what am I doing to be successful, to bring myself up? And it's kind of like along the lines of what Horace said. What am I doing to bring myself up? You know what I'm saying? In that time being, this is a great opportunity for opportunity. It really is. It don't look like it, but there are some people who are prospering. They are thriving. There are businesses thriving right now. You just have to, find your niche and find your way. But I think that what it boils down to is you have to know what works in your relationship, and all relationships are not created equal. And we do have a crazy culture out here where, hey, I'm going to use, people use relationships as stepping stones. It's like a real business out here to come up on the next person. And so prenups are a really big thing right now. And I think they should be, because if you have, now here's the thing, if you ain't got nothing to protect, then okay. But if you got something to protect, you got to do what you got to do. But I think that there's so many different ways that life can take you.
Just and, if I'm coming in with 2 nickels, I'm leaving with my damn 2 nickels. I don't care if you feel like I don't care if you feel like that's not worth protecting or not. We signing this doggone prenup.
No, I will say this, and I will tell anybody. I hope people are listening. The person you marry is not the person that is divorcing you. The person that divorced you, that's not the person you marry.
Yeah, they change.
Correct.
They change, and then sometimes
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised that same person you took vows with. You said, "I love you. We equally yoked." All that stuff. Get a divorce. You're gonna see how greedy.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. Statement. There is a thin line between love and hate.
Well, I'm going to say this. For example, some people might come in and have 2 children and live in a trailer park, and they think because they get with a baller, they get $80,000, and they think they can live off forever. But guess what? Trump ain't going to keep giving you the extra money and this welfare forever, because during COVID, they're going to cut that shit off, and that $8,000's going to go very quickly.
You might have some problems over there.
Prenup, when you
Hughes,
don't have a prenup,
where the hell is your flag, Hughes?
One more thing
flag out, Hughes,
that people forget is when you have a divorce, sometimes you still have access to some of the accounts, even though you have to submit them. That's why you can still cut their internet and cable off when they're talking reckless.
Well, right now,
Red dude has some unique issues.
We are not getting into colorism today, but we will have a conversation about colorism another time.
To what Epiphany just said, Epiphany, I've stated this. I think the song got it wrong. When they say there's a thin line between love and hate, that's not right. It is a razor thin line. It is a very, very thin line between love and hate. And I'm glad it didn't affect me directly, but I've seen from ringside, from people I know here in Atlanta, I'm like, you didn't expect this person to be like this until they got a divorce. It's a different person. It's like, you'd be surprised how people get very greedy, get very much like, this belongs to me, that I get this or whatever. It's like, you didn't help that person earn that. You weren't, or what does it say? What do they say on social media? You weren't shooting with them together. But
pain makes people do things that they would not do. A lot of times people become very faithful and stuff. So a lot of times it's,
listen, let me get a nickel. See this right here, Gabriel? This my shit. What are you talking about?
Horace, you know what? We can't get along today, boy. Listen, something told me, what? You might want to stay in bed, and I should have listened to myself. It has been a rough week, y'all. It's only, what's today? Wednesday?
I want him to see me touch my couch. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Good night. And y'all, this is a very great conversation. Have watch parties. Rewatch it for yourself.
Wait a minute. Can I do a shout out?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, I got 2. One is to my boy Reg. He got good news, and to my homegirl Tanya. Thank you for showing up. And
Absolutely.
the last but not least, to Horace Towns for giving me some Sanity chocolate yesterday, y'all. You have no idea.
I make sure I feed you.
Good
I
He
always
gave
job.
me
want to feed
Sanity
you, Pip.
chocolate. He cash at me some money.
I can't even tell y'all about the
$3.
group chat today, but anyway.
They ain't their business, Pip.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We do love y'all. We really appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all so much. Your energy, your conversation. We do have have watch parties, have your own conversations, and kind of work through your own thoughts about your significant other making more money than you, and how it makes you feel, how it connects with your position in the household, because it just matters and to some people. But there are dynamics, and your dynamic is not the next person's dynamic. And my recommendation is leave other folks out of your relationship.
Amen.
Keep your relationship
especially other
out
ones who
on
also
the
in the
internet.
trailer park.
Okay,
Yeah.
keep it off the internet, because
Keep it off.
Keep your relationship, your business off outdoors internet. I'm telling you, that's going to be the best way. That's going to save you. Who cares? Who's going to know that somebody makes more money than that your spouse makes more money than you, unless you tell them?
I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Correct.
It's somebody. I'm like, we're doing good. That's all I'm at. We're doing good.
And that's all they need to know.
We're not starving. We're not eating cat food. So we're doing good. We smelling nice, looking good. That's all that matters. Don't worry about who makes more.
Exactly. So we thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. The next one is September 2nd. And y'all have fun. Y'all talk about
Wait, is that our after dark?
Oh, I'll be here for that one.
No, that's not an after dark. That's a Wednesday.
I'll be here.
That's
My vacation
holidays. So
my
that's what we
vacation
did.
starts on the 4th. You Florida people, I'm gonna let you know when I haven't decided if I'm doing Florida yet. What part of Florida yet? But I'll let you know.
We trying to get our COVID numbers down, so stay where you at.
Coronavirus. That's all I got.
Look, y'all,
yeah.
I'm a contractor at the CDC. Been contracted for over 12 years. Y'all may want to get used to this new normal, because it's going to be a while before we get a sustainable vaccine. So, and I have, so just, when I see the emails and I have to sit on the lectures and the calls, just hang in there. That's all I have to say.
Trey, I need some perfume. We need to talk.
I'm always about that.
That sounds like offline conversation.
I'm hating. So Trey, the only one get the input on your fragrances?
No. We're not doing this right now. Y'all need to have offline conversation. Thank y'all. We love y'all.
Hey,
y'all can keep talking. I'm in the broadcast. Love
recognize
y'all.
our Spanish viewers. Vamonos.
Bye.
Spanish people in the audience.
You are. Oh Lord.
Vamonos Sanchez.
I can't. He don't.
Oh Lord.